My favorite comic hero is Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. He's a great character. He's really well written. He makes the tough decisions that really makes you think, like, if there were a zombie apocalypse, I know, crazy, could I handle what Rick has to handle? Could I do what he does and make those tough decisions? That's a lot to take on. And it's interesting to see the way the things affect him and change his decision-making skills. I just think he's really well written. I love it.
As far as comic books go, I have always been a make mine Marvel kind of girl, and I will tell you why. When Marvel wanted to give one of its characters, Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, a flaw, a weakness that made him more human, more relatable, they made him a drunk. When DC wanted to give one of its characters, Green Lantern, a similar weakness to make him more human and relatable, they made him vulnerable to yellow. Yeah. That said, my favorite comic book character of all time is Captain America. He's the ideal man. He's like a sweet, sensitive jock. He's the sort of guy who won a presidential election without trying and then turned it down because it just wasn't right for him or the country. And he has a very positive message. And that message is, kids, if you're too weak and crappy to try out for the sports team, drugs will solve all of your problems.
I really like Green Arrow and Black Canary. I think my favorite would have to be Martian Manhunter. I think the way that they designed him to look and his costume looks really stupid, but he ended up being one of my favorite. From what I've read of him in the comics and seen in like the Justice League cartoons, Martian Manhunter is my favorite.
I'm gonna have to go with Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth. He was badass. The end. And better than Wolverine. That was an epilogue. Boom.
Roxy from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I mean, one of the first things she says in the comic book is, "You punched my boob." I'm in love. I'm just in love automatically. I also loved her in the movie. I thought the casting was great and it really sealed the deal for me as far as favorite villains go. She's adorable and I love to hate her. Although I don't really hate her very much. Does that make her a very good villain? I don't know. I love her.
Onslaught, he's two great tastes that taste great together. Hey, you got your Chuck Xavier and my Magneto. Oh yeah? You got your Magneto and my Chuck Xavier, motherfucker.
I have to say that I think that the Joker is probably one of the best comic villains out there. I would say he's definitely DC's best villain. But one of my favorites would have to be the Riddler. And that would be because I love brilliant characters. I love characters that are just so ridiculously, like, almost scary smart. And the Riddler is that smart. I think he could have been one of the greatest DC villains. The only really downfall with the Riddler is that the writers who were writing the Riddler were not as smart as their character, so they weren't able to take that character as far as he could go in terms of being a threat.
You know, I'm gonna go with the Governor from Walking Dead because there's never been another comic book villain that has ever made my stomach turn. But the Governor, he did it in spades. So good on you, Gov. Well done with your no balls.
Definitely Walking Dead. It's certainly the one I'm the most familiar with. We have all the trade paperbacks that have come out so far, so I'm caught up as far as trade paperbacks go. Again, really well written. You get Jeff started and he'll tell you that it's not about the zombies. The zombies are a backdrop. It's about the people and just how they change, how the entire thing, how the situation affects them as people. And I have to admit, he's right. So The Walking Dead really achieves that quite well. So, props. I do want to give a shout out to a lesser known comic series. It's fairly new. It's called The Sixth Gun. If you haven't checked it out, look into it. The story is it's original and really good so far. They're only like 7 issues in, but I think the trade paperback just came out for the first 6. So next time you're at the comic store, please give it a try. Look it up online. I think the first issue is actually online completely. So give it a shot. It's really fantastic.
My all-time favorite comic book, however, would have to be Bongo Comics' Radioactive Man. For those of you who don't know about Bongo Comics, it's made by the people who made The Simpsons, and Radioactive Man is a comic book that spoofs other comic books, especially like comic trends. They had a couple of issues that made fun of like the Dark Phoenix saga in the 80s and the Dark Knight Returns and all the kind of like grim and gritty superhero stuff that happened back then. It's hilarious, strangely enough, as much as I like things that make fun of those things even more. So check it out, Bongo Comics Radioactive Man. You will not regret it, especially if you love comic books.
Batman. Hands down, I love Batman. I love almost every Batman character. I love everything to do with the Batman series. I love almost every Batman villain. It's my favorite comic series.
I'm going to go with the Age of Apocalypse. Oddly enough, and I know it's a little mini-series Elseworlds thing, but I've never been so happy than when I was collecting them for an entire summer back in the 90s. It made me very happy. It was awesome.
My favorite villain? Stiltman! Fear the power of Stiltman! Stiltra! I'm just kidding.